This is a tutorial for my simulation on polarization. So when you first start the tutorial, you'll see a single wave source coming from a single source. And it's vertically polarized, but you can actually just click. If you click in the middle, you can move the source around. But if you click anywhere else, you can actually, you can make it a horizontally polarized source, or you can pick any angle. You can make it circular polarization, clockwise or counterclockwise, or you can stop it just by clicking on that little icon below. So we can start with a vertical polarized source. If you want to, you can add up to 12 sources, so you can get all sorts of different polarization directions. And if you unselect in phase, all those sources will now be out of phase. Perhaps to make my simulation run faster, I'll pick 6 sources for now, and we'll let them run for a second. And if I click Pol 1, it creates the first polarizer in here, which we can move up and down. And you can see that it's currently oriented vertically, so we get only vertically polarized light. It is eliminating all the horizontal light as it passes through. But of course, you can change the angle and make it a horizontal polarizer instead. Or if you like, you can make it a circular polarizer, which looks a little bit weird, but those are your options. Let's get rid of that. So it's just a vertical polarizer. You can create a second polarizer below, and if you make this one horizontal, at 0 degrees, you can see that it cuts out all of the light. And we can add a screen there, and you can see at the screen, it's receiving an intensity of 0%. But, you could make the second one circularly polarized so that the intensity received at the screen will actually alternate between 0 and 50. You can play around with it however you like. There's a couple of other options here. Let's just get rid of the polarizers for a second. There's a couple of other options. You can, of course, make the waves move faster, which will increase their wavelength for a given frequency. Or you can increase the frequency and shrink their wavelength for a given speed. Or if you like, you can also increase the size of the sources and the polarizers if you just want to zoom in a little bit. So let's make them back to a reasonable size. The last thing that you can show, you can also, I think you can also put it on either side too if you want to make them go right to left, or bottom right to top left. It's up to you. The last thing I added was to show the partial polarization from reflection off of water. So when the light source hits the water, it becomes partially horizontally polarized here. And this is kind of fun. This represents polarized sunglasses. So if they're vertically polarized, they will cut out all the reflected light. And you can see the fish in the water. I kind of thought that was a nice touch. So as soon as they're vertically polarized, you can see the fish. Or if you put it on circular polarization, the fish will become more and less visible depending on the orientation. And that is that simulation. I hope you enjoy it.